Welcome to Pivot Happens, the plucky little podcast that could, with Anne Kingston and denMeer.
Welcome to episode lucky number 7. For those about to pivot, make sure they salute you, part 1. Hello and welcome to another episode of Pivot Happens, the plucky little podcast that could. I am one of your hosts, denMeer, and
I am Anne Kingston, your other host. Yes.
And we are presenting our Pivot Happens podcast where we talk about pivots and we break them down into intentional pivots, which are the ones that you want to do and you like to do and are hopefully positive. And then the universal pivots, which is where the universe says, I have other ideas for you and this might not be fun today, but maybe someday.
You in the butt. I'm going to make you do this.
Maybe you needed a little more poke than you thought you did. So, not making light of anybody's shitty pivots because
we've been through the kicks in the butts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And some are still a little hard, I will fully admit, to be like, oh, well, the end was worth it. Yeah. Certainly, I mean, if only I were that evolved where I could be like, oh, it was all part of the plan. No, some things really sucked. Some things were not good. Some things it's really hard to still kind of parse out. I guess what's popping into my head is my marriage. I'm thinking, but you know what? What that was good for was to show me what I don't want in a partnership, so, but if I could, undo that and not go through what I went through, sure. And there's been lots of really terrible things in my life I'd undo if I could, but again, all of it all made me
the
gal I am today.
I think that overthinking it will probably get us into trouble, but at the same time, I understand we don't want to make light of anybody's struggles.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like, but this is what life is.
Yes.
A series of opportunities. You take one path, you take the other, or you take the other, but
And pleasant or not, like I don't know if somebody got a memo I missed where there was this idea that life was always going to be pleasant.
Oh, I know.
Because a lot of times life is really, really hard.
Did your mom ever say to you, I hated it. Oh, I would get so mad at her when I was little. And you say, Mom, that's not fair. That's not fair. And did your mom ever tell you something like, if I ever told you life was fair, I've done you a disservice. And I remember thinking, what? Like, wait, what? And I remember, like, I would get mad, like, no, you're supposed to make it fair.
Yeah.
No,
she was probably teaching you.
Be fair.
Kind of a lesson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My mom would say that a lot, and it wasn't in a mean way. It wasn't in a horrible way. It was just more like, I'm here to tell you.
I'm trying to think. There was a TV show or something which says life's not fair.
Yeah.
I can't remember now what it is, but there was.
That was my mom.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that pearl of wisdom ever got to me. Yeah, that's fine because I'm trying to think of who said that about life's not fair. Oh, I can hear it. I can hear life's not fair.
3, 2, 1.
It's fair.
Right.
Life's not fair.
Life's not fair. So, bitch, good luck.
Life is fair, or life is not fair.
Life is fair, life is not fair, life is life, and you get to make those decisions for yourself. And I mean, if you want to live in a place of always being angry that life isn't fair, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your choice. I don't think it's a very pleasant one, but hey, that's not me. And again, it isn't always. But so today, what we were thinking about, a subject we were thinking of broaching for today's episode is, so you're living that sweet, sweet pivot lifestyle, living La Vida Pivot, as I named one of our episodes. You're living the sweet pivot lifestyle. And, maybe you're living intentional pivots and you've decided, I want to write a book and get published. There you go. That's a pivot you're going to make. And whatever it takes, you're going to start making changes to make that happen. Like, writing a book. That's probably the first place you want to start if you want to pivot.
I should grab it, shouldn't I? Cue to grab book. Cue to grab book.
Yes, cue to shamelessly promote, man. Yeah.
Grab the
So,
book.
if you want to write and get a book published, I suggest writing and then publishing, because those are the two really important steps to making that happen. But the first step is, as we talked about before, well, you have to write a book. You can't just sit around and say, boy, I'd like to write a book and get published. Like, no, that does not work. You can try it, but it usually doesn't work. So you're living it. You're on the pivot path, man. I'm gonna make my dream happen. Whatever it is. I'm gonna open a dance studio. I'm gonna eat more vegetables. Whatever your pivot is. And you think, this is really cool, and I'm doing my stuff. I listen to those chicks on that podcast. I listen to those pivot chicks, and I'm creating a toolbox. Yeah, I got my toolbox.
It's so inspirational.
They are. And I'm listening to meditations now. I'm doing tapping. I've really got it going on, and I'm keeping a journal. I'm writing every day for 10 minutes. I'm writing every day for 2 hours. Whatever it is. I'm practicing the dance steps. Whatever. So you're doing it. You're living the pivot life and everything. And then you bring it up to somebody, whether it's,
Right.
friend at lunch, somebody you work with, maybe someone in your family, because I remember, I've talked to you about this before. When I used to do marketing coaches, one of our canon rules was your friends and family are not your target audience, because they're always going to see you as little Annie who, had pigtails and braces. It was just, you're that person to them. You're whatever they've built about you. So they may have a hard time seeing you as denMeer, published author, Anne Kingston, romance novelist.
Right.
They might be like, okay, that sounds kooky. So what do you do when you're trying to pivot and you tell people, or people find out, or whatever, and they're not
Or
supportive?
the byproduct is showing of whatever that pivot is.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Like you're promoting your book on TikTok.
Right. Or healthy choices you're making. You've lost, 50 pounds.
Right.
That kind of stuff. The
Right.
reaction, because sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's weird.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think the weird is probably where we're going to explore, because,
Yeah.
we have talked about the wonderful example of how our undying devotion to each other and our dream of what we wanted to do, which was both of us writing a book, and how we never allowed any, we would go to each other if we were wavering and be like, no, it's a sign. That just means this is where you're supposed to be. This,
Yeah.
That's awesome. If you can latch on to some of that, I cannot recommend it highly enough.
You can find your work bestie that you can do that with.
Exactly. If that works out for you, I'm so happy for you. So happy for you. Unfortunately, not everyone is going to be like that. Some people are going to, I think a lot of times, like I'm just getting ready here. I'm just getting into full on.
Okay, I'm with you because I'm ready. I got some stuff loaded in the brain for you.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say I think where a lot of this starts is fear. It's their fear of going outside the lines, of risking like you're risking. That scares them so much. Or it's a fear of, what if she doesn't get published? What if no agent ever wants her and she's sad and she's not happy and she has a really hard time of it? We don't want that. So let's just crush her dreams right now. So that she doesn't try, because that scares me. That her reactions, her fear, her hurt scares me.
That's so interesting. I never thought about it in that way, but I'm sure a lot of people do experience that. I actually purposely didn't tell anybody this is what I was doing until I did it. Because I didn't want to have those reactions, to be perfectly honest.
Yes. And I think right there is a big part of the secret, is maybe you don't just come right out of the gate announcing, especially to people who have some sort of vested interest in your life and the outcome of your life and things like that. Because I think they can be a risk because of some of these reasons, because of fear of you experiencing disappointment. or
Right.
pain or sadness or whatever it
Right.
is. So maybe it's best to just, because it's interesting. I have slowly, but very slowly, been kind of bringing in people to read my book,
Yeah.
because my book is still just sitting, and trying to find an agent. I mean, that's where I'm at. But I've given it to a couple people, and it's interesting because my cousin he's like my brother, friend. I mean, we're very close. I feel like we're much more like siblings than cousins. I mean, it's like and we've always been that way. We've always shared a lot of interests and kind of got each other. I think we both kind of have maybe a quirky side that the other one gets, and maybe that sort of bonded us in our family. I don't know. But so I haven't asked him to read the book.
Oh, really?
I know, because you probably would have thought he'd be like top of my list, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, he isn't. And part of it is because I asked his wife to read it. It's interesting, my cousin-in-law, to read it. And part of why I picked her, I kind of felt like in some ways, and I haven't really gotten any reports back from her, but in some ways, I feel like, one, it's maybe something more like she would read. And then two, I don't think she's had, and this is a huge judgment for me to make, because I don't know if this is true or not. Observationally, I don't think she's had as much trauma as some people. And I sort of feel like even if you haven't experienced the exact trauma that's in my book, for someone who has, I mean, I will fully admit there are parts of my book that are, especially if you have a traumatic childhood history, aren't going to be easy. Now, I always qualify this with that in the end, my book is a story of hope and redemption. But I'm not saying, my point in the whole thing is you have to walk this path and you have to go through these things, and these things can be deadly if you don't deal with them. That's part of the book. I mean, it is, but it is a story of hope and redemption. So anyway, I kind of felt like I don't want to give it to people who I feel will be like, I can't read this. I can't handle this. I don't want to read this. You know what I mean? Who won't give.
Right.
And I don't know if he'd be like that or not, because now I'm kind of thinking, since he knows she's reading it and everything, I might just say, do you have an interest in reading it? I also didn't want to put him in that position, because I'm not looking for hypercritical, harsh reviews from people right now. I'll let agents and editors do that for me.
Right.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
You guys can handle that. I don't need people whose feelings and thoughts matter to me a lot. I don't need them saying, give up. No, I even never do that. Anyway, so yeah, in this beginning part, or when you're kind of starting down a path, especially, I mean, now, no, you know what I was going to say, if it's something like, I want to live a healthier lifestyle. I want to, start walking. I want to start, eating more kale, however that works for you. I was going to say that might be an easier thing to share with people, because most people are like, oh, great. But some people aren't. Some people are, who knows why they're going to, again, their own take on why that would be good or bad or whatever. So, I mean, it's like, how do you know the point where you feel like it's safe to let people in on my journey pivots? Because
I don't know when you know it's safe. I'll be honest with you, because just today, remember I told you about a coworker. He picked up the book, he read it, he reviewed it, and we had this understanding we're not going to talk about it. Because I really, you know what I mean? And it was fine, but I will say this, going back to your cousin, because if we can go back to that for a minute,
sure.
There is something that is more important, I think, for you than it is for him. And it isn't going to be the act of reading the book. It's going to be the act of letting go and giving it out there and putting it in front of him, because that alone is terrifying, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah. And it's kind of like putting a present in front of someone and then literally just like literally truly offering it as a present, and you don't need to see them open it, you don't need to see the reaction, you don't need to see if they use it, you don't need to see if they throw it away, you
Right.
don't need to see any of it. You just need to like offer it and walk away. Because
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that in a way like he may read it, he may not read it, but there's something really important I think that you might get out of letting go of that, because the reality is he is a safe space regardless of whether
Oh,
he reads
right.
it or not. And it's going to be good practice for you of presenting it to people, because I will
Yeah.
say it's scary. It's scary. We both know it's very scary. It's very
Yeah.
scary to open up yourself and be that
Yeah.
vulnerable, and
Yes.
and then go out, did he read it? Did he not read it? Because there is a point now where I'm just like, you can read it. You don't have to read it. I don't need to know. If you've
Yeah.
liked it and you want to let me know, that's great. But otherwise, it's all good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
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 And I
Yeah.
think I'm not yet there at 100%. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like I totally got this shit down. I don't. But I'm closer to feeling like I've let go. I've given it to people. They've asked for it. They've
Yeah.
bought it. And I'm like, and I've tried not to think about it. Just tried not to think
Yeah.
about it at all, whether or not they've opened it. So all I want to say to you is with this whole pivot and his reaction to your pivoting and his reaction to you making massive, amazing changes in your life to go in the direction that you want. His reaction should have nothing to do with whether or not you're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
continue that. You know what I mean? And I know
Right.
you know that, and I know you would
Yeah.
never let it, but like,
No. I
you
think
see where I'm going?
it's like how I'm approaching the agent. When they say no, and two have said no now, that's fine. When they say, luckily neither of them are the ones I really want.
Yeah.
I still hold no hope for those two. But no, that's the way I look at that. It's like, good. Then you're not the right agent. You don't, And this one was,
Right.
she did. It was really cool because she said, agents have all different tastes. It doesn't mean it's just not, something I want to represent, but it wasn't like this is bad. It was like this just isn't in my wheelhouse or whatever. So that was
Yeah.
kind of nice. It was a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was still a form email, but it is nice to at least get that. I mean, that's,
Yes. Agreed.
So anyway, but kind of like that because so far, Laura's the only person I think who's read it.
Oh, really? Cover to cover?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So-
And I can't say that I've read it. I was at the beach. I was at the beach a couple weeks ago. I popped it open. I think I read the first 3 pages and then I had to put it down. But I think what I'll do as a commitment to you is I'm going to put my Kindle next to my bed and every day try to pop it open and read more. I like the way it starts. It's very sassy. It's very you in a lot of ways.
That's what Laura said too. She's like, there's parts I can definitely tell are you.
And
then
it's funny in that way because, but also, I mean, again, if we're talking about trauma, I know we're supposed to be talking about pivoting and people's reactions to pivoting. But if we're gonna talk about trauma, there's almost like a healthy respect you have to have for the delivery of your voice in the book, which is going to be, I think, a really important part of why the book is going to be what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's interesting. I will say this: none of the characters are real people. Let me be clear. It's a fictional autobiography. It is written in the style of an autobiography, but it is a work of fiction. And I will say that none of the characters in there are anybody real.
Right.
And yet all of the characters are probably a little bit me.
1000%.
Because how do you not do that? I mean, there's things,
right.
and I'll probably never divulge who is me and how they are me because I don't want that necessarily to cloud any of it. But they all take things from me. And obviously, I mean, I made them all up. So they're all going to be shades of me, some more than others. And probably, I think, people would be really surprised, the ones who are the most me, because I don't think they're necessarily the ones you would assume were. But no, they're... yeah, I definitely, I mean, I wanted it to feel ultra real. That's what I'm going for, in that I want it to feel like you really feel like this is a real person who's talking to you and telling you her story.
Yeah.
That it's so and so yeah, her voice is very much like that. She's very much like, like she talks, and yeah, probably like me, and her taste in music is exactly like mine. So of course that's going to be work. I already have a soundtrack for the movie of my book. I mean, it's in my Apple Music, so it's like that exists already.
I can't even imagine not writing to music and having that soundtrack. I mean, maybe some people don't, and that's okay. Like, that's your thing, man. But I do all the time, man.
Yeah. Oh, I know, and I know, like, I'll think, like, oh, this song would be so perfect at that part. That really evokes, and because to me, music is such a huge part of my life, and so important to me. So, of course, it's like, the way that song makes me feel is how I want this scene to feel. Those are the feelings I want to come out. There's a song by The National called Tropic Morning News, and that song to me is like, for some reason, that is very important in this book. And I'm really hoping that they'll let me use a line from their song in the book. I mean, otherwise I'll have to just talk around it like you do with lyrics. But if I'm hoping that I'm going to get this book published and it's going to do anything, I also hope that I can use that line. And again, if you took it out of context, and we just talked about it here, it was, it's where he says, I'm getting, to the point where I could say the painful parts out loud. And to me, it's like that has so much meaning. Now, and I don't know if anybody else, even if they read that, they'd just be like, you know what I mean? But to me, it's like that is so pivotal. And that song to me is so pivotal to this book. But actually, and it's the song I used on that little clip I made for TikTok about wanting to get home and write. That was the song I used. This song is just, to me. So, I mean, that's the degree to which music plays into my writing, which is...
Oh, yeah. Same.
And like you said, maybe a lot of people like that, but I know for me it's important. So...
But back to, there's a therapy in... in putting it in front of people and letting go.
Yes, I totally agree. And I've been thinking about, it was funny, I was thinking about this
growth.
episode.
Maybe therapy's not the word. Growth. Anyway, sorry.
There's a vulnerability for sure. It's a huge vulnerability. I don't know if you don't write, if you can understand that. Because I think if you don't write, then you look at it, it's like when somebody is a really great actor or whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, they're really good at that. Boy, it really seemed like them or whatever. But you don't realize what it takes to make you feel like, oh, it was just really good. To just fit into it so well. Because all it takes is the slightest bit off, and it's really clear that they're either acting or they're acting poorly, whatever. One of the things I was thinking about when I started kind of running through this idea in my head, there's this wonderful video of David Bowie. Of course, David Bowie is one of my just favorite, one of my top artists ever. When the year he and Prince died was just a little too much. 2016 was a very bad year. Those two losses, though, and I never saw either of them in concert, and that is a regret. And that's why I try to get to as many concerts as I can. Because I don't ever want that to happen again. But anyway, there's this wonderful clip of David Bowie, and maybe when I put out some social media stuff, because I don't know about including it in here, I don't know legally how that flies, if I can just put that in. But what he says is one of the worst things you can do is play to the gallery. He's like, that is not where you want to be. You don't want to be trying to please people and make them happy and like you and like this or whatever. He's like, you need to push yourself a little bit beyond that. You need to push yourself into a place of where it feels just a little uncomfortable, because that's where you're really creating, and that's where that really comes from. And I think that when you start dealing with other people's feelings about your work, it's really easy to just want them to like it. To just want them to just like it, because you just want that little bit of... I know when I got to talk to Laura about my book, that was amazing for me. It was. And I certainly picked, for the one person to have read my book, I picked a good one because she got it. She gave me great feedback. I mean, it was like, it wasn't like just nice book. You know, that's the worst. Oh, that was really good. No, you don't want that. But it was great feedback, and she got so much of what I was trying to get across. And that to me, it's like, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. And to get people to answer some questions for me, do you think that part was okay? Do you think there's a time jump in the book? And I've been concerned since the day I wrote the time jump. Was the time jump a good idea? And she agreed it was, and that it worked for how it was. Because, there's like this weighing of what's going to be more effective, having this time jump and then finding out how everything turned out for everybody, or the more drawn out story of how they get there. And for some things you want, it's 6-7.
Okay.
It's like, do I want this? Do I not want that? And so that was the decision I made. And I do feel like it certainly, I feel like by doing that, it made the changes in everyone's life in that 5-year span that much more poignant, because it was like, here they were and now here they are. I tell you, it could still choke me up right now. What happens in the book? It's like, it's so weird because it's like, you wrote that, you know what I mean? And you wrote that, but it's like, it's a magical experience. I have this little pin that says, books are magic. And it's so true.
Oh,
books
that's
are
cool.
magic, and writing books is a very magical act. If you know, you know. It's definitely, if you know, you know. If you've been there, if you write and you're a writer, you know.
No, I know
how that is. That it's like,
and that is a really cool feeling to go back into a part of the book and go, oh wow, this is. I mean, I like it. I think this is good. God, I hope people like it.
I know. And so that experience with Showing Laura, that was a good one. It could have gone either way. She could have been like my sister, who felt like it was too much for her. She's one of the people who felt like it was too much. And I totally respect, if anybody feels that way, I would totally respect that. It's not like, it's like, okay, I get it, people are at different places in their lives and can handle things. I mean, there's a time in my life I probably couldn't have read this book. But so, I mean, I don't know. Like I keep saying, though, it really does. It is a story of hope and redemption and healing. It really is. But in order to heal, you have to experience the wound. And again, I'm dealing with a wound that I think is, this is one of those things about sharing at large and everything. It's like how people are going to react to that. Because, I mean, I'm dealing with the subject of childhood sexual abuse hard enough. I mean, I get it. But I'm also dealing with it in men. And I feel like that is just something that is so under-discussed and under-covered. That, and it's wrecking so much havoc. It's costing lives. It's costing, and not just, like I call it, there's the lives that go to addiction. There's the lives that go to suicide. There's all of that can stem out of that. But then there's what I call the soul death of like living with these things inside you, unhealed, that are killing parts of you, killing probably the best parts of you, because you're using other things to just try to numb everything down or whatever. So I think it's, and I really feel like it's like, obviously women and men both need to heal. That is true. But I do feel like in that arena, women are given a slightly wider berth and have been, and we could get into Jesus. We could write doctoral dissertations on why that is like it is. I mean, that is so deep and nuanced. I don't even want to get near that. But I do feel like it's way harder for men to own that, and because of that, to heal from it. And it happens all the time to all kinds of degrees. And then I think we look at men in the world and the issues they deal with and the things they do. Like my joke or my kind of, glib little line about it is like, we need to heal men so they stop doing things like invading sovereign nations. You know what I mean? It's like, we got to get them working on this shit and getting healed so that they can understand their actions better. And I think that's kind of a big point I make in the book. When you're living still in a traumatized, unhealed state, a lot of times you are just as mystified by your own behavior as the world around you watching you do these things.
Yeah.
And it's because you don't make the connection. So I guess in writing this book, my hope was maybe a few more people can start making the connection and a few more people can start talking about it. And then other people can start. And that is like my real hope in this is like, and I know that's a huge hope. And again, so this is one of those things. It's not really easy to just run around telling people what I just told you. Now I'm saying it to the whole world or our 17 listeners, whoever that may be. But who knows? But I mean, it's like, it's a lot to say this and put it out there because people are reactive to these subjects because they are so difficult. They're going to be, they can be reactive because it's triggering their own trauma or whatever. So that's problematic. But I mean, again, this is one of those things where it's like, man, you start saying this shit out loud and it's like, that. Well, there will probably be people who definitely don't agree with me. There will probably be people who, who hate what I've written and everything for whatever reason.
It's not for them.
It's not for them yet. I'll say that. Maybe they'll get to a point someday. I really would hope for them that, I mean, I'm not saying like everybody would need to read this book. I'm saying everybody would get to a point of healing themselves enough that part of it anyway. I mean, you may just not like how I write, and that's fine too. I mean, you may not like swearing. Not unlike me, my narrator of this story cusses like a sailor. So I mean, maybe you don't fucking like that. I don't care. You can not like my book for any reason you want. But if you're reacting from a place of being triggered by your own trauma, all I hope for you is that someday you can heal to the point of where, because I've been that person. I have been that person. There was a movie, this is probably, I'm trying to think when this was, maybe 30 years ago, with Alan Rickman. And I can't remember the woman who was in it, but pretty much the whole scene, the whole movie is, it's like a bottle episode. It's like all in one place. And he's basically, it's torture, because he is trying to get information out of her, and this is what I can remember of it, and he's using psychological torture. And I remember these guys brought it over. I had a roommate then, and they were friends of hers, and these guys brought it over and we watched it. And when that was over, I fucking blew up at them. I was like, I cannot understand why you would bring that here. I don't know why anyone would ever want to watch this movie. I was so upset. And I was just starting to deal with my own trauma and everything, and it was all very new, and it was all very, you know what I mean? And so I just, and I hated Alan Rickman after that until he became Snape. Now in Snape, I fell in love with him again, or fell in love with him, is that because he was certainly a nuanced character in that, and it had been long enough that I'd kind of forgotten about that whole movie, but it was like, that's how strongly that affected me.
Wow.
And so I think now I could probably see that movie and just be like, I mean, really, I don't know if it'd be something I'd want to watch all the time. And that's a pretty dark subject. And unlike my book, it was not a story of hope, healing, and redemption. It's just awful. It's like, I'm promising you that. I'm promising you shit gets better in my book. Not like sunshine and rainbows, but in like, if you do the work, you can move beyond this shit. But not in that movie. Nope. I can't even remember that. It seems like it had like a single word title or two, or like the something like. Anyway, so everybody comes at stuff from where they're sitting. You know what I mean? It's like that's where you're going to react. So I'm sure there'd be some people who'd read it at this point, unhealed, and be like, and I guess that's that's why I'm hesitant about who I hand it over to, because it's like, can you handle it? And so far, hopefully I've been, and like I said, that's why I went with my cousin's wife, because I sort of feel like I said, we haven't had an in-depth discussion. So if, maybe she's better at hiding her trauma. But I'm just, and not everyone has trauma. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying she doesn't. Oh, my light went off. I'm saying this is total armchair, unprofessional again.
Yeah.
Yeah. From looking in from the outside, that's what I'd say. I could be wrong. Anyway, so yeah, so that's a definitely. Those are probably. Okay, now I feel this way because it's me and what I'm doing. There was an episode of Community where Britta and Troy had both started secretly taking dance classes. One was taking modern, the other was taking tap, because for whatever reason they'd gotten into it, but they wanted to keep it secret from all of their friends because of that. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's Brene Brown. Here we go. It's about the vulnerability. It's about, this is important to me. And it's something I'm going out of my own comfort zone. How are people going to react?
Right.
And
right.
Do you tell or not to tell? When do you tell? When do you start letting the cat peek out of the bag?
I think that's unique to each person. I do.
For
I think
sure.
that's unique to each person. Every person has to kind of make that decision, and I think it just depends on the people you're around. Are they supportive or are they not supportive?
Yes.
I think that, this is not, so for me, I waited because I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure how far I would get in my process.
Oh, sure.
So I didn't want it to be like, and I think everyone can identify with this, I'm starting a diet on Monday and I'm going to be eating X, Y, and Z. And in a month, you're going to see me be, so it's kind of like that. And then, a month later, you're like, yeah, no, I've been eating my burgers and whatever. I'm not on that diet anymore. So it's like,
or like, what are you talking about?
Right. You're a disappointment. You feel like you're a disappointment to yourself and others. So it's kind of like that moment where you're just like, no, I really don't even know if I can get there. So for me, I didn't really tell anyone. I was telling my family. I was writing all the time because it was my therapy, and it really is my therapy. So that was an easy thing to be able to explain. And they've always known me as writing.
Yeah.
But it probably wasn't until I think I actually hit the publish button. I don't think I told them anything until I hit the publish button. I said, hey guys, look what I did. And I remember the reaction was like, what? So, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't want their feedback.
Right.
I love my family. I love my sisters. Yes. I love my mother. They are in every part of, but I didn't want their feedback. And there's a lot about that, which I know you can identify with. I didn't want to honestly share the process with anyone either. I wanted to do it on my own. And share is not really the right word to use, because obviously I've had a mentor through the process who told me and explained to me how to do everything. I've had my husband through the process who shared the experience and encouraged me every step of the way, and honestly helped me with a few things logistically, setting up, accounts.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
and your work bestie.
Exactly. Right. Yes. That's the funny thing is I think you were one of the few people, along with my husband, who knew what I was doing. Really knew what I was doing, like really, 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 really knew. And Katie, so I think everybody has their own place where they know what serves them. And I think that part of you will tell you, because the whole idea of pivoting and having people react to your pivot, the thing is that they're going to react how they're going to react, and you're not going to be able to control it.
Right.
And the thing is I didn't know if I was strong enough to deal with anyone not giving me 100% encouragement.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird and goofy, but like, I don't know if I was.
That's
and
why
so
I didn't give it to my cousin.
Yeah, I just didn't. And so, of course, now that I'm, so many months in,
And how many thousands of pages read.
right. And I'm telling people I didn't think that I would tell, and people are reading it who I never thought would read it. And it's been fun. And I will say this, that, 6 months in, I am now more willing to let go and let people
Yeah.
know that I've written something, or, because all I can think about is, Anne, one day you're not going to worry about what people think. You're not going to worry about any of it, because you're going to be so far along in this process that it's going to be second nature.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes.
you know,
We'll look back at
so
this and laugh. We'll be like, oh,
yeah, I wasted so much time being
I know.
scared. And I
I
know,
know.
the thing is being scared is important in some ways, because it
Uh-huh.
keeps you safe. But then in some ways you have to look at that fear and go, is it holding me back? So
Yes.
again, that's everyone's own personal decision. But, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the reaction to pivots, I had a beautiful reaction from my family, but let's be honest, I didn't tell anybody until I hit the publish button.
And I think there's some wisdom in that, and especially as someone who has started a million things in my life. I mean, I'm definitely one of those people, and there were certainly points in my life where I was a lot more like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it's like, and I'm not sorry about that. I'd much rather have been that person than a person who never tried anything. I mean, that's how I
Yeah.
approach life. It's like, I'm going to try shit, man. I'm going to, obviously, I mean, it's like, let's just do a podcast. Okay. We'll figure
Absolutely.
it out. But so, yeah, I would definitely much rather have been that person. But also, too, looking back, it's like, yeah, I don't know. And sometimes I have to wonder if it wasn't a little self-sabotage when I would tell people, like, hoping that they would,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Gotcha.
like that their reaction would maybe make it be okay to just walk away, or give up on that, or whatever. Because
Right.
I will tell you, I mean, as a younger person, as a person, in childhood and adolescence and all of that, I would not say I came from an encouraging kind of family at
Yeah.
all. I mean, I definitely
Yeah.
came from a, yeah, opposite of that. What is the opposite? A discouraging family. Don't try, don't, I mean, I've mentioned things like how, my
There's denMeer going after whatever again. Look at what she, yeah, I know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, or,
Okay. We'll see how far
God,
she gets.
one of my mom's things, she would always say this, unlike your mom's advice, this is what my mom would say to me. When I'd want to do anything that was interesting or off the beaten path, she would say, I mean, this was like a rehearsed speech practically. She would always say, when I was young, I wanted to be a movie star. And I need to caveat this. My mom never acted. My mom never did any kind of like acting lessons, was in, maybe some bit parts in plays in high school. She never did any
We
of
all
that.
wanted to be.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like, she's like, when I was young, I wanted to be a movie star. And then I realized that doesn't happen. Isn't this a little like wanting to be a movie star? No matter what it was. I mean, like wanting to be a writer was like wanting to be a movie star.
God.
You know what I mean? So it was like, don't try anything because that doesn't happen to anybody. And it's like, well, okay, first off, people who really want to be movie stars, they start acting in things, they take acting lessons, they start...
There has to be step one.
Yeah, they take steps to it. To just give up, again, my rule, that's 100% how to make it not happen, is don't do it. Okay, so she took care of that. I'm not going to be a movie star, and she made that dream come true, 100%. And also, too, it's like, I did write. I was winning awards for my writing in school. I was having teachers tell her I was gifted. I was having all of this stuff going on, and yet it was still getting lumped in with not, don't have dreams, don't have big dreams, don't have aspirations, don't think that you're special. You know what I mean? Don't think that there's anything,
No.
just, yeah. So, I have that little nugget inside me. So that really, I have to work really hard to make sure that that little nugget stays where it's supposed to, which is with her. That those were her thoughts. They were not accurate. They were not real, and they weren't very good advice. And it's like, well, and to me, I guess I've gotten to a point now where I define success as someone who writes a book and then sends it to agents to try to get an agent and tries to get it published. However it turns out, it turns out. To me, success was that I did that I did those things. I didn't just sit around with another book living on a computer hard drive somewhere that never turns into anything. I wrote a whole fucking book from beginning to end, novel from beginning to end, created a story arc, created characters. It's the whole package, the TP, the total package, and that's success. To me, that is success. That's
and that's that
winning.
All of that is about. I mean, I'm no psychologist, but I mean, and again, I'm not trying to turn this into, but everything about that statement is about her.
Yes, it is.
It is
totally
it's about whatever she was feeling growing up, how she couldn't, what I mean? But the part that's sad is that for whatever reason, I don't even know, is she trying to protect you from feeling that disappointment? But yet the reality is by that statement in itself is creating that feeling of disappointment.
Yeah.
So,
obviously we can't know.
I know. And I know you don't want to go there either with her.
Oh, so. Yeah, no. I mean, but no, who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's certainly been, fodder for plenty of therapy sessions, to try to extricate that from my brain. But it is hard. It's hard because what I think that does to you is then it creates this person inside you who's young,
good enough,
who's young, who doesn't think they're good enough, and is then always looking externally for someone to say, you are good enough, it's good enough, try, and yet you don't then have the ego strength, whatever you want to call it, to put something out there to be judged, because it is.
Right.
Trust me, this process is a process of judgment. It's saying to someone, do you think my book is good enough for you to take it and take it to publishers?
Yeah. Right.
Ouch. So, but
right.
Again, to me, the person who really is not successful is the person who says things like, isn't that like wanting to be a movie star? You can't be a movie star, so quit. That's a person who's not successful. The person who takes the risk, writes the book, writes the whole thing, starts sending it out to be, with millions of other people with the same idea, not the same book idea, but the same idea of I want to have this. Mm-hmm. But to me, that's being successful. That is it, because it doesn't matter how it turns out. I don't care how this turns out. I want people to read the book. I want to make a change. I mean, I want to help people and affect change and do all of that, however that can happen. But I've already succeeded in my mind. It's like, because I broke beyond that. I broke beyond just, because I think in no small part that has to do with why there are so many unfinished manuscripts living on hard drives.
Yeah.
Because I had this voice all the time that was like, this just isn't good enough. This just isn't, this is terrible. This isn't good. And it's like, I know that's not all of it, but that's certainly a big kernel in there of that lack of belief in myself. So, I mean, for whatever reason, I mean, I will say too, I mean, it was not just her. I don't know, with my family, like, on both sides, I would not say there were a lot of believers in big dreams.
Seriously, we are 100% non-qualified, unprofessional armchair psychologists. The Pivot Happens podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and is not a substitute for any form of professional mental or physical health care. If you are experiencing any mental health issues, please reach out and find qualified help. If you do not currently have a support system in place, the NAMI helpline provides the one-on-one help and information necessary to tackle tough challenges that you, your family or friends are facing. Call, text or email with the helpline MF, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. 988 crisis service available 24/7. Call 1-800-9506-264. Text NAMI to 62640. In a crisis? Call or text 988.